The mysterious deity who claims to be the guide is a detached being who feeds on negative emotions. Having already been done with Liam, his wife, and her lover, and now looking for his next target, he heads off to Earth again, where he lays his eyes on a young woman who is at a noodle shop about to have the best meal of her life. But as she snaps open the chopstick, it breaks unevenly, which in Japanese culture is considered a bad omen and is believed to bring misfortune or even death. The reason why the chopsticks broke unevenly is because of the god deity who is loving how many negative emotions are being generated from her because of such a little thing. Meanwhile, back in Liam's world, Liam's maid Argy waits for his awakening in front of his education capsule. The capsule opens up and Liam wakes up, finding out that he's been asleep for 2 years and his physical body has grown and has been strengthened by the night-raising program of the capsule. Since it has been only seconds for Liam, he will need time to get used to his growing, and Argy suggests that he get some rehabilitation. Afterward, Liam inquires how his territory Banfield has been doing and Argy shows him the territory's current economic situation. As an AI robot, she has done her part faithfully and has governed Banfield properly, so Liam praises her. But he wants to see the development with his very eyes, so he heads out with. Not only that, she has also built a floating dock in the skies where mobile robots and spaceships can be stationed. Liam eagerly visits the floating dock and is completely amazed by the sight of the mobile knights that he can and will mount in the future. As he expresses his wishes to ride the robot, Argy arranges it for him, teaching him the basic controls which are easy to learn. The maneuvering is dependent on magic and basically whatever movement Liam will imagine, the robot will move exactly as he wishes. Liam accordingly and carefully sends the mobile knight from its station and walks around with ease. Moments later, he gets bored and asks Argy if there's any way for him to practice combat using the robot. She arranges it quickly, equips him with a sword, and summons Captain M of the Banfield Army to be Liam's sparring opponent. Liam excitedly takes the offensive and hits M's shield with full power, sending him crashing into the ground. Liam realizes that M deliberately gave up, and not wanting to be treated like a child by this army man, Liam makes it clear to him that he should take this fight seriously or he'll face consequences for being disrespectful. So, taking the duel seriously, M gets up and defends properly, disarming Liam in an instant and pinning him against the ground, ending the match. With this defeat, Liam gets hit with the reality check that he will have to build his own battle skills to become a better pilot, so he tells his chamberlain to hook him up with an instructor who will teach him how to become competent in combat. The chamberlain doesn't think fighting is necessary for a lord, but Liam believes otherwise and no longer wishes to be oppressed by others for being weak. He wants to become the strongest out there in order to achieve his goal of becoming an evil lord and appoints Yusha, a man with a katana, to be his sensei. Liam introduces himself to Yusha expressing his desire to become the best swordsman, which prompts Yusha to get into a philosophical speech about how there isn't anyone who can be called the best. Argy becomes skeptical of the cringe man, but Liam tells her not to worry about it and begins his training with Yusha. The master swordsman first demonstrates a secret technique of what he calls the way of the flash. Gripping the hilt, he slightly unsheathes his sword before sliding it back into place, and in an instant, all of the logs around him split in half. Liam initially believes that the man drew his sword so fast that they couldn't even see it, so he asks Argy to play the slow-mo video of it, which she recorded with her eyes, only to find out that the man didn't even draw his sword. Assuming that Argy's high-tech camera couldn't capture Yusha's technique, Liam becomes even more intrigued and decides to become Yusha's disciple. However, what he doesn't know is that Yusha is a scammer and the logs were already cut open by him beforehand. The guide deity watches the entire thing happen from his dimension. Perhaps he is the one who sent Yusha here, and he eagerly waits to see what this will lead to in the future. On the other side, Christiana the Princess Knight gets a peace talk offering from the enemy pirate gang, so she heads to the enemy base with her battle fleet to speak with the enemy pirate gang's commander Go. However, Go actually never intended to have any peace and only brought her here so he could attack her unguarded home planet Mysteria. Moments later, thousands of pirate ships approach Christiana's planet, passing through her alliance's defense line, and Go reveals that the alliance joined hands with him, betraying her because most of them think of her planet as a threat. As the entire combined fleet of the alliance point their weapons at Christiana's spaceship, Go reveals that it just took him some money to convince the alliance to betray her and makes her realize that her rule ends here. However, he promises to not harm her planet if she listens to what he tells her to do. 3 years have passed since Liam started training under the con man, and of course, he hasn't learned the flash technique because it doesn't exist. He has mastered basic martial arts, but he isn't satisfied at all and wants to learn special techniques that can help him become an overpowered evil lord. Back at Master Yusha's crib, he boasts about how easy it has been to scam Liam, who continues to be clueless about the fact that he is nothing but a bum with no skill at all. He is happy about how much he has gotten and wishes this easy money would keep coming forever. At that moment, Liam returns to ask his master some questions. He pleads with his master to teach him a complicated technique called the technique of the way of the flash. Hearing this, Master Yusha banishes him from the school as punishment for his continued insistence on wanting to learn an advanced technique when he hasn't fully mastered the basics. Immediately, Liam pleads with his master to forgive his ignorance and admits to being a fool, which he clearly is. He begs not to be kicked out, and Master Yusha stylishly listens to his plea since he didn't want his money source to run dry. After being forgiven, Liam hurriedly leaves his master alone. Noticing that he has left, Master Yusha breaks out of his elegant character and acknowledges that he has completely no idea about the technique Liam has asked him to teach. Just then, Liam returns again to offer him some extra money as an apology, and the hungry master accepts. When Liam finally leaves, he is very excited about the extra cash he would be getting. While he is excited, Liam returns again to inform him that he won't be available for classes the next day, and Master Yusha has no problems with that. Of course, he would have no issues with his favorite moneybag not coming for his pointless classes. Back at his palace, Liam takes an elegant position on his throne as he laments on the stress of learning. At that moment, Argy informs him about Theon's economic report, with debts remaining the same. However, since production and sales are growing, all seems to be well. Liam acknowledges Argy for her hard work and considers leaving the government to her more often. As pleased as Argy was to hear this, she apologizes for having a low growth rate than they had expected. She shows him a report on the welfare program and laments on how the results have gone below expectation. Liam finds this surprising and wishes to know who is in charge of this failure. Shortly after, a weird flex, but Liam reminds him that it's a lie. Furthermore, the shorty insists that he had incurred those expenses to keep things running. Hearing him litter these lies, Liam asks why he chose to use a different vendor from the one that had been used before, but he claims that the new vendor is better. Stop the cap, man. Having gotten tired of these lies, Liam reminds him about his other corrupt practices of bribing vendors. Back at his palace, Liam takes an elegant position on his throne as he laments on the stress of learning. At that moment, Argy informs him about Theon's economic report, with debts remaining the same. However, since production and sales are growing, all seems to be well. Liam acknowledges Argy for her hard work and considers leaving the government to her more often. As pleased as Argy was to hear this, she apologizes for having a low growth rate than they had expected. She shows him a report on the welfare program and laments on how the results have gone below expectation. Liam finds this surprising and wishes to know who is in charge of this failure. Shortly after, a weird flex, but Liam reminds him that it's a lie. Furthermore, the shorty insists that he had incurred those expenses to keep things running. Hearing him litter these lies, Liam asks why he chose to use a different vendor from the one that had been used before, but he claims that the new vendor is better. Stop the cap, man. Having gotten tired of these lies, Liam reminds him about his other corrupt practices of bribing vendors. Even with all this muttering, Liam unsheathes his sword. When this happens, the fatty switches and informs Liam that he is only able to live a luxurious life due to the efforts of lords like him. However, before he could complete such defamatory words, Liam slices the life out of him. He rants at the lifeless lord, letting him know that no one has the right to touch his people or his money except him. Before this could get out of hand, Argy calms him down. Before then, he orders her to investigate all the corrupt officials. However, she lets him know that doing that would cause more harm than good. On the other hand, she suggests that he prepares a large number of dolls instead, claiming that 30 dolls would serve him more efficiently in things like governance and other subsidiary units to make sure there is progress in the land. Hearing this, Liam immediately agrees to it. Although Argy believes people could have negative things to say about this decision, Liam doesn't seem to care as long as there will be progress. That night, the news begins to spread about how Liam had killed a corrupt official. Also, they talk about how Liam intends to change compulsory education from 3 to 6 years, which has made more construction workers to be assigned to building schools. They believe that Liam is doing a good job, especially considering his young age of 10. Meanwhile, Liam finally tries to control the large Transformers-like machines since he has now mastered martial arts. Unfortunately for him, his fake master arrives just in time to play down his dream of riding the machine by claiming that there is no meaning in using something that every other person can use. Instead, he asks Liam to consider controlling something more powerful which no one else can handle. Hearing this, Liam immediately agrees to it. He turns to the captain of the base for ideas and is told about the old non-automatic model of the machines. The captain informs him about the existence of a unit which his great-grandfather used to pilot, and Liam is so excited about taking after his great-grandfather's machine.